This is ABC7 News at 7, your Suncoast News. We're here for you.
As people become housed, other people become homeless. And there's a core group, the chronically homeless, that has kind of been over the years not focused on.
Florida homelessness, a problem in the Sunshine State for decades. Reports show a decrease in Florida. Did they check out downtown Sarasota? Good evening, everyone. I'm Alan Cohn, and welcome to ABC7 at 7. We'll have more on declining numbers in homeless in a moment, but first, our top 7 stories at 7. We are just days away from the new year, and while the celebration in downtown Sarasota will once again be a terrific good time, in this day and age, more than ever, police are having an eye on safety and security. This year, Pineapple Drop and New Year's Eve celebration is expected to draw thousands to downtown Sarasota. Police plan to be in full force. Police departments across the country are taking every possible precaution to ensure public safety, and that includes Sarasota.
If you're going to drink, then buy it from the vendors because you need to be inside so you don't violate open container laws.
The event is expected to bring in more than 25,000 people. A state-of-the-art computer simulator developed by the Army and Department of Homeland Security to combat terrorism is coming to Florida. The training center is housed at the University of Central Florida and offers role-playing opportunities. The $5.6 million program is similar to those used by the Army to train soldiers in combat tactics and scenarios using a virtual environment. The program uses past school shootings to help train those taking the course.
A lot of these features allow teachers to test out things that have been tried. For example, Virginia Tech, they found that barricading the doors worked very well. So this gives different school districts the ability to try out different things, see what works for their given environment.
Homeland Security officials say the school's version should be ready for launch by the spring. Some parents have been saying it for years. Too many video games is bad for your health, and that includes a video editor at ABC7 named Anthony. And guess what, kids? Your parents were right. The World Health Organization is classifying addiction to video games as a disorder. The draft of the 2018 International Classification of Diseases now includes gaming disorder. The diagnosis describes an excessive video game playing that is evident for at least a year, but playing lots of video games doesn't necessarily mean the person has the disorder.
Gaming, when it's done in excess, can be troubling.
Playing video games isn't all bad. However, there are studies which say that playing video games in small doses can have a positive impact. The enrollment period for Obamacare has ended for the rest of the nation, but in Florida, you still have until this Sunday to sign up. Floridians were granted the extension due to the impact of Hurricane Irma. The director of Florida Blue, which is part of Blue Cross Blue Shield, says staff has been working overtime to help people apply.
We've actually are extending our hours. We're supposed to be closed on Sunday, but Sunday we're going to be open 10 to 4, so we can help anybody who's last minute who didn't realize it.
So far, more than 8.8 million Americans have enrolled in health plans through 2018 through the federal exchanges, with Florida having the largest enrollment of any state. A new bill filed in Tallahassee would prohibit credit reporting agencies from charging fees to consumers for placing or removing security freezes on their credit. The goal of the bill is to eliminate fees for up to $10 charged when a data breach victim wants to temporarily freeze a credit report.
Right now, credit rating agencies can charge up to a $10 fee for their credit to be frozen. We want to remove those barriers from our citizens, so if they are violated and they are taken advantage of, they can stop their credit from being accessed at no cost.
The bill will be considered during the upcoming legislative session, which begins in January. It's almost time to get rid of your Christmas trees, and if you haven't done so already, the Florida Department of Agriculture says it's important to discard trees properly because they can cause a fire. Recycling Christmas trees is a safe way to prevent a fire hazard. However, if you decide to burn your Christmas tree, it's important to follow guidelines, remove all decorations before burning, and clear the burn area free of other flammable materials. If you're looking for a healthier alternative when buying groceries, you're in luck. Whole Foods, announcing its newest addition to the Suncoast on University Parkway, will open up January 31st. It will be the second Whole Foods on the Suncoast, the first being in downtown Sarasota. The store is expected to employ 180 full-time and part-time locally hired team members. Now let's head over to meteorologist Steve Newman with the First Alert forecast. Steve.
What a great evening in progress. This is probably the last of the really warm, mild nights that you can get out and walk around after sunset. And I'm going to step out of the way so you can see a beautiful sunset that occurred over Sarasota Bay at 5:45 and kind of see some chemtrails. Contrails up there. I shouldn't have opened that can of worms, but it was a beautiful sunset, whether they were man-made or natural. Taking a look across the state, it was cool in the Panhandle with the temperatures up there in the 40s and low 50s. Today, because of a lot of clouds and rain, 72 at Tampa, Fort Myers 75, 76 at Miami at this hour. It's been as warm as the low 80s in some of the warm spots. Longboat Key and Siesta right now at 70 degrees. There is a change afoot in the weather, and we're seeing evidence of it with these clouds beginning to drift our way. We do have a cold front that will eventually come through late on Friday, bringing us cooler temperatures for the weekend. But right now, we have the showers up to the north that will not reach us. In fact, if we look at future radar that takes us through the night and the early morning hours, there could be a few patches of fog, not only inland and interior areas, but sea fog as well. But I don't think we're going to see anything in the way of showers overnight, with light winds from the northeast bringing in slightly cooler air. And here's your evening planner showing we'll have temperatures cooling off through the 60s throughout most of the evening hours. And without any chance of rain, you don't need an umbrella, you don't need a heavy coat, and you don't need an ice scraper like they do up north right now. Alan?
Absolutely unbelievably cold up in the Northeast, including on New Year's Eve.
Yeah, bitterly cold, 14 degree the forecast temperature with wind chill near 0. That's dangerous. You can get frostbite if you're in that for any length of time. I would not be going out.
Good luck, Anderson Cooper.
We'll see if they cancel or not.
All right, thanks a lot, Steve. And still to come, reports of state homelessness on the decline in Florida, but what about here on the Suncoast?
A decade of war has taken an unprecedented toll on our men and women in uniform.
Hundreds of thousands of our veterans are suffering from the trauma of war.
At Justice for Vets, we believe that every veteran should have the opportunity for treatment and restoration.
Get involved and go to justiceforvets.org.
Help put treatment within reach of veterans in crisis.
Veterans fought for our freedom. Now it's our turn to fight for theirs.
Attention type 2 diabetics. The FDA warns of an increased risk of amputation associated with certain diabetes medications. If you took the diabetes medications Invokana or Invokamet and then suffered an amputation or one of these other serious injuries, call the Rely On group right now. If you've suffered amputation or any of these injuries after taking your diabetes medication, call the Rely On group today. You may be entitled to substantial financial compensation. The FDA has recently warned about an increased risk of leg and foot amputations associated with the use of certain diabetic medications such as Invokana and Invokamet. If you or a loved one took the diabetes medications Invokana or Invokamet and then suffered an amputation, ketoacidosis, kidney failure, or even death, call the Rely On group now. We are here to help you get the justice you deserve. You may be entitled to substantial financial compensation. Call 800-355-8205. That's 800-355-8205.
This is an important announcement. If you're between 50 and 85 and worried about your loved ones, you can still get affordable life insurance for peace of mind.
My life insurance coverage is guaranteed, and I was not required to get a medical exam.
I had high blood pressure and diabetes, and I got my coverage with one telephone call. No exam necessary.
I'm a smoker, and I wanted to take care of my family. I called to get my life insurance and my affairs in order. I wanted to do the right thing.
Call Final Expense No Exam Insurance. Your rates are guaranteed and will never increase.
I called and learned that this insurance cannot be canceled even if you get sick or gain weight.
And there are no restrictions on how my beneficiaries use the money when I'm gone.
Approval was easy and the price was right. I wanted to do this for my children.
Call 800-738-9812. 800-738-9812.
Get breaking news alerts focused on the Suncoast. Download the ABC7 News app.
The U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development is boasting about a declining homeless population for Florida based on their 2017 annual report. Did they ever walk down Main Street in Sarasota? ABC7's Adam Cellini tells us why we're still a long way from fixing the homeless problem.
Alan, once a year, homeless outreach groups are required by the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development to go out, hit our local streets, and try to count the homeless population in just a 24-hour window. There are several reasons these groups cringe once these numbers are finally released. The federal government is saying homelessness is down in Florida, though you might not know it from looking around.
I'm just reluctant to tell people that in and of itself, it's a measure of either success or failure in a community.
The U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, or HUD, released a 2017 annual report showing a 4% decrease in homeless persons on a single night in Florida. Ed DeMarco compiled the numbers representing Sarasota and Manatee counties.
Last year, we counted 1,440 some homeless in both counties. But we know that there were well over 3,000 unduplicated persons who were literally homeless who took advantage of services in Sarasota and Manatee County last year.
The problem is the data is from only one day. HUD sets the parameters for what's called a point-in-time survey. On a designated date, volunteers go out to find homeless individuals equipped with a survey of personal questions that must be answered to be counted.
Many homeless people are very leery of answering these questions at all.
Adela Roser's facility Turning Points leads the count for Manatee County, and she's quick to point out the numbers don't tell the whole story.
One person might be homeless today and tomorrow they've got some place to stay. A month later they don't have a place to stay again, so it's really hard to get a good count for those people.
Another disturbing trend, last year more than 1,000 people in our area found permanent stable housing, but the homeless count dropped only 1.5%.
As people become housed, other people become homeless. And there's a core group, the chronically homeless, that has kind of been over the years not focused on.
Now, chronically homeless are the focus for DeMarco and the Suncoast Partnership to End Homelessness. In a plan developed earlier this year, those in need of housing and treatment will be sent from access sites like Turning Points into supportive housing, provided by groups like Community Assisted and Supported Living, or CASTLE, who is trying to break ground on a brand new 80-unit facility right here along Fruitville Road.
We're going to be targeting 60 of those for people that were homeless or at risk of homelessness. And the other 20 are going to be for people that are just folks that are income constrained and need an affordable place to live.
Others will receive vouchers for a few months' rent in an apartment. But this rapid rehousing approach has a problem. Rent is still out of reach.
Where are you going to rent here in our community when you have people knocking at the door ready to rent for $2,000 a month or $1,500 a month?
Rapid rehousing is the goal, but if you don't have a house to put them in, it doesn't seem like it's so rapid.
One thing DeMarco does think the numbers provide is accurate trends, and HUD says chronic homelessness has declined 53% in Florida since 2010. Staying on the decline in our area will be a team effort, but for once, everyone feels all the players are at least aiming in the same direction. In Sarasota, Adam Cellini, ABC7, your Suncoast News.
Coming up, reaction from downtown merchants, business owners, and homeless activists at the Trapezoid.
Credit card debt can ruin your life. If you owe $10,000 and minimum payments are siphoning away your paycheck each month, you can get debt-free in less time than you think.
I've paid $800 a month for the past 3 years and haven't changed the balance on my credit card.
Get debt-free now has a program to reduce your debt, stop the harassing phone calls, avoid financial ruin, and settle for less than you owe.
I feel like a huge weight has been lifted off my shoulders.
You're pre-approved for our special hardship program if you owe $10,000 or more. Upon payment of your new lower balance, your debt will finally shrink until you are debt-free.
My family no longer has 30 years of payments ahead of us at 20% interest.
There's no fees until you see results. So call now, make one monthly program payment, and free up your cash. Resolve your debt.
Call 800-685-6422, 800-685-6422.
Glasses and contacts. You need them to see, but they put such a strain on your life, you miss precious moments. Due to new advances in vision improvement technology, LASIK is now affordable for almost everyone, with procedures starting as low as $299 per eye and over 1 million procedures performed by our trusted independent surgeons. LASIK surgery is a sensible, safe, and affordable solution to improve your vision. Our simple 3-step process begins with a free evaluation, followed by an extensive preoperative exam to determine if you're a candidate for LASIK eye surgery. Depending on the results of your evaluation and eye exam, you and your surgeon will choose the LASIK option that works best for you. So call now to talk to a LASIK Vision Institute counselor and schedule your free evaluation. That's a $100 value, free. Call the LASIK Vision Institute for your free evaluation and enjoy more of your life.
Call 1-800-813-0109. 1-800-813-0109.
About every 3 minutes in America, someone is diagnosed with a blood cancer. Light the Night brings together survivors and supporters to bring light to the darkness of cancer and to help fund life-saving research. Our goal is a world without blood cancers, and we're lighting the path to cures. The discoveries made in blood cancer research have led to breakthrough treatments for many cancers and other serious diseases. Help defeat the darkness of cancer. Join Light the Night today.
Welcome back. Just a little bit of a disconnect here. The U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development says homelessness is down in Florida, including here on the Suncoast. But that might come as a surprise to anyone walking down Main Street in Sarasota or near the Salvation Army, where the homeless line the sidewalks every single day in the heat or in the cold, just waiting to go back in for a meal and a bed. Sarasota's strategy is ever-changing and evolving, or putting it another way, there has been a lot of fits and starts and stops and starts again. You can say a lot of things, but residents and visitors can reach their own conclusions just by walking or driving around the downtown. And joining us for more is Michael Barfield of the American Civil Liberties Union, Ron Soto, chairman of the Sarasota Downtown Merchants Association, and local business owner Martin Hyde. And gentlemen, thank you all for being here tonight.
Thanks for having us.
Michael, I'm going to start with you, because if the point-in-time survey, and you're involved with the process with that, if it's not accurate, then what good is it?
Well, it's an effort to get out into the community and develop connections with people that are in need. Its limitations are that it's only a one night, but I don't think anyone uses that survey as the gospel as a homeless count. There are a number of other indicators, like the fire department data, the Salvation Army's own data of how many meals they serve is a very reliable indicator of how many homeless are in our community.
But could it be used by people, whether in Washington or in Tallahassee or any place else, to say, hey, we are making progress in the fight against homelessness?
Well, it could, but I don't think it is a reliable indicator. You can't just take one night's worth of data and extrapolate that to find a solution. There are other sources of data that are available for every night, i.e. the Salvation Army.
Ron, you know, people who work around downtown, especially at the restaurants where I go practically every day, you know, they see it firsthand. And I would imagine it's affecting businesses firsthand, because you walk down Main Street anywhere from noontime in the afternoon, and there are a lot of people there in a community which does its best to cater to tourists and to snowbirds.
Yeah. Well, the biggest problem we have with our downtown area is what they call the chronic or vagrants that we have downtown, which are the homeless people that the outreach team comes to, tries to give them help, and they don't want help due to the fact that they want to, basically they're hooked on drugs, alcoholism, or whatever the case may be. And if you go to one of these places like the Salvation Army to get help, they have rules, and you can't stay drunk and stoned if you go to one of those places.
Right, and if you drive around the Salvation Army, it's a very unfortunate scene, and in a community that is trying to show its best, you know, especially since we rely on the tourism industry.
Well, yeah, and the biggest problem we have with that is, believe it or not, the tourists and the generosity that we have with our people downtown, that they give them money. And we try to explain to them, instead of giving money to people on the street, give it to Salvation Army, the Resurrection House, or these different organizations that help them, rather than giving them money so they can buy more alcohol and drugs.
Right, and Martin, that raises one of the questions here. I know that you in the past have been out front in terms of how you talk about the homeless in Sarasota and what to do about them, but there are people and there are communities of people who believe, hey, this is a problem involving our fellow human beings, and we need to find an answer, not just move them out.
Absolutely. Bus tickets aren't the answer. I've thought a lot about that subject, and you know, criminalizing homelessness isn't the answer. Neither, though, is decriminalizing criminal behavior. There is a balance to be struck. I think that there's a common goal. I think that being homeless is a terribly scary thing. They're much more likely to be victims of crime. A large part of it is to do with mental health and substance abuse. And there are a lot of things that, you know, simple solutions to complex problems don't absolutely always exist. But I do think that there's a disconnect. The Sarasota County is shipping people from Englewood into the city of Sarasota, and that's why we have a disproportionate amount of homeless.
All right, we are just getting warmed up, and we'll have much more on homelessness on the Suncoast right after we check on the First Alert weather. Stay with us.
There's nothing like this trail in Alabama. It just goes from the northern part of the state to the southern part of the state. We see all kind of different terrains, great value, great fun. We've been coming for 18 years. We started off with a group of 8, grew to 12, and grew to 16. And we love it because where else can you get world-class golf courses with world-class accommodations? To be able to play these type of courses in this environment, and the difficulty keeps us coming back over and over and over again.
Are you currently on Medicare? In other words, do you carry the red, white, and blue Medicare card? If so, are you suffering from chronic back pain? If you answered yes, you may be eligible for a pain-relieving back brace covered by Medicare at little to no cost, shipped directly to your home for free. These medical-grade back braces are ideal for lower back pain, arthritis, spinal disorders, and other chronic back problems. Will you qualify for a medical-grade back brace?
Call Back Brace America at 1-800-683-9262.
It's the holiday sales event here at Alex Karras Lincoln. Drive a brand new 2017 Lincoln MKC Sport Utility for $269 per month, or a 2017 MKZ for $279 per month. We have a great selection of certified pre-owned Lincolns. These vehicles have warranties up to 100,000 miles and come with complimentary roadside assistance. Alex Karras Lincoln, affordable luxury, winner of the prestigious 2015 President's Award, serving Florida's Suncoast since 1978. We are located 2 miles north of the Sarasota-Bradenton Airport on US 41.
For the last decade, S&S Motorsports of Sarasota has built custom high-performance vehicles for demanding clients worldwide. They're now bringing their 50-plus years of combined build expertise to the parts business. SRQ Performance Parts is your one-stop shop for all your performance parts and accessories.
Every year, 40% of all food in the U.S. never gets eaten.
40%. That's almost half the food we produce.
Food waste is a serious problem. It impacts all of us.
And it's expensive. Your family is throwing $1,500 a year in the trash.
We're working hard to put food waste on the chopping block.
And you can do the same at home.
Learn how to cook it, store it, and share it.
Just don't waste it.
Go to SaveTheFood.com.
Dot Pharmacy is a website verification program that helps you identify safe and trustworthy online pharmacies. Purchasing medicine online can be safe and easy. Just look for pharmacy to the right of the dot in website addresses.
Our conversation on homelessness continues right after we get the check on the First Alert forecast with meteorologist Steve Newman. Steve.
You're talking about being out on the town, downtown Sarasota. Tonight is a great night. In fact, I'm going to step out of the way to show you the high clouds that were streaming over the Suncoast as the sun went down precisely at 5:45 this afternoon. A beautiful sunset with crimson skies. Currently at the airport at 69 degrees, our dew point 65%, humidity 87%, and we could have some fog forming in the overnight hours. That's really the only big weather problem we see tonight. Temperatures across the state for highs, 78 in Tampa, 84 at Fort Myers and Miami, one of the warmer spots, but it got up to 85 at Punta Gorda. I think that is the state's warmest today. Our high in Sarasota, 79. That is not a record. The record would have been 86, set back in 1988. The low this morning was 60, very mild, 8 degrees warmer than normal for this time of year. There is a change afoot in our weather, and we can see evidence of it with high clouds streaming in across the Gulf of Mexico in our direction, giving us that beautiful sunset you just saw. And it's producing a few showers up in the Panhandle and far northern waters of the Gulf of Mexico that will skirt Tampa Bay in the evening and overnight hours, but should not reach us, so it'll stay dry overnight tonight. That's part of a disturbance stretched right across the Gulf Coast that eventually, once this front passes over us by late Friday, then will turn cooler. But most of the cold air now bottled up north of that jet stream. Generally, we'd have this mild air blowing off the Pacific, warming things up, but we're getting a feeder, a second branch of the jet stream coming high from the Arctic, just reinforcing that bitter chill. And indeed, it is very cold. 12 in Syracuse right now, 21 in New York City. Cleveland 10, where it's been having lake effect snow today in that city. 7 at Chicago at this hour, 12 at Kansas City. And that deep chill has blown all the way down to the Gulf Coast, at least the Texas and Louisiana coast. You can see those blues. 34 in Dallas right now and 44 in Houston. Well, here's our futurecast that shows the change that's happening. There's that rain we just saw on radar. And we do have a cool front that's just now passing over us. But the key is the winds are still blowing off the Atlantic behind this front. You can see the way it's stretched. But look what happens. Friday morning, we will have the stationary front drift off to the north and the cold front finally pass, channeling winds from the north. And that's when cooler temperatures, not colder temperatures, drop off into the low 70s, actually closer to seasonal normal. Well, here's my forecast for tonight. Look for skies to be often on cloudy, often on partly cloudy with patches of fog, not only inland, but also out on the sea. We could have some sea fog over the Gulf of Mexico. 61, the low temperature with those north-northwest winds at 5. And for tomorrow, another partly sunny day. Sometimes there'll be more clouds than sun. High of 77. That'll be the warmest day we'll have for a while as the change kicks in, as you can see in the 7-day outlook. Patches of morning fog on Thursday, cools off to 73, and then when the cold front comes through Friday late into Saturday, that's when we drop down to 70 for the high on Saturday. Still dry. Sunday, New Year's Eve, another nice day, dry, high only 73, but that's pretty close to seasonal normal. Midnight should be around 62, 63 degrees. So all evening long on New Year's Eve, the weather looks really good, and then it changes on a dime, turning colder and damp during the day on New Year's Day with a 50% chance of rain, and then it stays unsettled for the next week. Alan will be back with his guest in just a couple of minutes. Stay tuned.
You love your couch and want to protect it from spills, food, and scratching, shedding pets. Introducing Couch Coat, the reversible, washable quilted cover that protects your couch. Shield against spills, wow, stop stains, and dirty pet paws and sharp claws. Plus, it's reversible with 2 stylish colors. Guaranteed to fit any couch up to 92 inches or your money back. It even has covers to protect armrests. Machine washable too.
My grandkids destroy everything, but with Couch Coat, my couch is always protected, looking as good as it did the day I bought it.
Get your Couch Coat for just $19.99, and it's reversible in brown and cream, like 2 couch coats for the price of 1. Order right now, and you can double your offer. Get a second Couch Coat. Just pay a separate fee. Order right now.
Call 1-800-943-0710 to get your couch coat. Call now or go to couchcoat.com. So call 1-800-943-0710. That's 1-800-943-0710. Call now.
Growing up, my mom was afraid of the water, something she did not want me to feel.
So I enrolled Missy in swim lessons.
It changed my life.
Missy Franklin.
And now you can do the same for someone that you love.
There's nothing more precious than your child's well-being.
So act now, before it's too late.
Make us swim! I'm glad I did.
Thanks, Mom. Visit usaswimmingfoundation.org to find, get, or give a swim lesson.
It's me, Artie. Come see what I collected from the Creative Galaxy in my idea box.
Transform your world.
Will you help me make art?
Each one of our journeys keeps us young. Before you throw it away,
Hey, I have an idea.
think outside the box.
We'll never get older. Each one Go be amazing!
Give your cardboard box another life. Recycle.
Many websites selling medication may look professional and legitimate, but the vast majority of sites selling prescription drugs are doing so illegally. Criminals use websites to sell counterfeit medications that may contain life-threatening toxins. Dot Pharmacy is a website verification program that helps you identify safe and trustworthy online pharmacies. Purchasing medicine online can be safe and easy. Just look for pharmacy to the right of the dot in website addresses.
Welcome back. The federal government says homelessness is on the decline across Florida, including the Suncoast, which might come as a surprise if you were to, let's say, walk out the front door of ABC7 and walk across the street. Joining us for more is Michael Barfield of the ACLU, Ron Soto, chairman of the Sarasota Downtown Merchants Association, and local business owner Martin Hyde. You know, Ron, there are a number of new programs that are taking hold in Sarasota, including the sheriff's new team on homelessness, which includes 2 deputies, 2 mental health professionals, 1 sergeant, and a lot of equipment. And, you know, county commissioners are saying, you know, we're never going to solve this problem, but we're going to manage it better than what we have or what we done in almost a kinder way. But in your opinion, and you are a stakeholder in downtown Sarasota, is this enough? Is this the right approach?
Well, actually, I think it has gotten better. 2 years ago, if you were to walk across the street and see what the Salvation Army was, it's night and day to what it is today. So it has gotten better in the last 2 years. The problem that we have downtown is the chronic, the ones that are just out there and they're at the same spots, day in, day out, panhandling out, and that's what puts everybody in frustrations.
You know, as I said earlier, I'm downtown every day. I do, if anything, I think I see more homelessness on Main Street and around the Salvation Army than I have since this broadcast has been on the air.
More than there was 2 years ago.
Yes.
The camping out there across the street was incredible 2 years ago.
Well, you know, Michael, what do you see as the problem here? Because we have taken different approaches over the last few years, including getting them off the street physically to trying to find better techniques and help for them.
Well, Sarasota is attractive because of its climate. There's a reason that we are all here, and there's a reason I think that's the primary reason why homeless people are here.
But let me stop you there, because it's just as nice in St. Pete, it's just as nice in Tampa.
There are plenty of homeless people in St. Pete.
Can I answer that one?
Sure.
All right. The difference is downtown Sarasota, we have so many different facilities down here. We have over 38 different organizations downtown helping, feeding, clothing, so we become a destination. All right, because there's so much here to provide for homelessness. It's a great place to live. It's a great place to be homeless also.
You know, I think we also need to change the equation. We over-label everything as homeless, and a significant percentage of this population are mentally ill. Years ago, we locked them up in civil commitment proceedings in Florida, and that was ruled unconstitutional, and they were released into the community. And we're still dealing with that. We haven't grappled with the underfunding of mental health care in Florida in particular and everywhere in the country. That is a core component of this.
Martin, let me ask you about this, because it is true. We are ranked dead last in the entire country in terms of mental health spending and doing anything about that, and that's on our state representatives and senators. On the other hand, I'm sure there are a lot of people watching this tonight who are just saying, get them off the street.
Well, they might be, but that's just kicking it under the carpet or the can down the road. I watched a video earlier about Skid Row in LA. 20,000 people homeless living there, and it was a video that was done over the holidays and exposing how these people have to live. San Francisco's had to spend $300 million this year on its homeless problem. It's growing every year. Absolutely, mental health is a big part of that, and we're massively underfunded. To the other point, the county, people in Englewood, people in Northport, Sheriff Knight talking about putting people in the Salvation Army. Again, the urban center of Sarasota County is the city of Sarasota. We only have 54,000 people. We only keep 20% of the property taxes we charge out, and we're being left to hold the baby. The fact is we need absolutely to get more help, both from the county, from our neighboring counties, from Lakewood Ranch, because they all are part of the reason why these people are here.
You know, we have the same conversation time after time. Ron, I don't understand why downtown merchants and people in the business community don't put intense pressure on our legislative delegation to do something about the funding for mental health programs in Florida.
Well, I agree with you. We should. We should do even more pressure on them. Well, Martin was saying, though, just a second ago, that with the Sheriff's Department bring them, so if they're down in Inglewood, if they're in Venice or whatever, they bring them to downtown Sarasota, and pretty soon the rest of the county doesn't have a problem, only downtown Sarasota does.
Michael, let me get you to respond to that.
Well, I don't think that's true. I think that downtown Sarasota is attractive. There is a reason why merchants are opening new shops here every day and new condos are going up. It is a very lovely place to be. I don't think there is no evidence of people being bussed into this community. In fact, there's evidence that they're being bussed out of this community.
But there was a famous case in the last year or so where a drug and rehab center down, I believe in Naples, were driving people up to Sarasota and letting them out, and the police department had a guy on video describing exactly what happened.
Well, there was one person, not more than one. There was one person that there was a dumping, if you will, and that was investigated. And so there are incidents that occur where people come here or they occur here, but they're not coming in busloads. We have a significant portion of our homeless population that have serious mental health needs. This is why Judge Quartermain's program is showing some early signs of success, because we're treating it and evaluating it when it comes into the criminal justice system and using the resources that are available to deal with that. I think that that is the best way to deal with it, because communities have been underfunding mental health for some time. This is what was dumped on local communities by the legislature to fund mental health.
You know, Ron, what impact has Sarasota's changing strategies in terms of dealing with it had in terms of local business on the street? Because we've been talking about shelters in and out of the city. We've been talking about law enforcement, now friendlier law enforcement approaches. And meanwhile, businesses downtown, I would imagine, can't help but be affected by it.
Well, it does affect, especially if somebody's in front of your store panhandling. It does affect you because people don't want to deal with it, so they'd rather go someplace else. And we want to keep them downtown. We don't want to send them out to the malls and stuff. So, yeah, it does affect us. As far as what the mental health end of it, I always ask this one question: which came first? Was it the paranoia and schizophrenia, so we self-medicate with drugs and alcohol, or was it the fact that we've been doing drugs and alcohol for so long we have the paranoia and schizophrenia?
Well,
Which came
I think
first?
There's a clear link between mental health and people are self-medicating because they're miserable, not because they choose that. No one wants to be homeless. They don't choose to be a vagrant sleeping in a corner of an alcove on Main Street. That is not a choice that they consciously make.
I guess what I'm trying to get to the bottom of is whether the region's ever-changing strategies in dealing with this has basically created the situation where we have more homelessness on the streets of the city and surrounding areas than other local communities.
I look at it in a more practical way, perhaps, than the sociological way. There are categories and subcategories within it. We do have a small criminal element in there that are just feckless. We have a lot with mental health and substance abuse problems. We need to take a look at who these individuals are. We're aware, the city has said this many times, that they've offered services to many of these people on multiple occasions, and many have declined because they don't want to be bound by the constraints of being in a facility. And I get that. But at that point, they should have still to be bound by the same rules of society that we all are.
Michael, you've been on the front lines of that. Let me give you the last word.
The Salvation Army, one of the things we need to correct when individuals are approached by HOT team members out in the community to try to get them to the shelter is to let them know that the rules have changed. There's actually a bed, not a mat on the floor at the Salvation Army. There's still a myth out there among the homeless population that going to the Sally is a mat on the floor and getting booted out at 4 in the morning. That's why they opt to stay on the street as opposed to a hotbed. So we need to educate our homeless population that real beds are available for them and they get taken care of 24/7, not on a 4 in the morning get booted out.
All right, we have to take a quick break and we'll be back for final thoughts in just a moment.
Christmas Traditions by Lux Art Silks, where more is merrier. Make your holidays sparkle with style. Browse our amazing showroom, cute collectible cottages, and beautiful Christmas displays. Find the inspiration, selection, and quality you need to deck the halls merry and bright. Christmas Traditions also features the area's largest selection of quality pre-lit Christmas trees, every size, shape, and color, and plenty of decorations to make your home shine for the holidays. Christmas Traditions by Lux Art Silks, where more is merrier. Visit us on New 301, just a quarter-mile north of University Parkway.
This is an important medical announcement. Xarelto and Pradaxa have been linked to uncontrollable bleeding and even death. If you've been prescribed one of these drugs and have experienced these dangerous side effects, you may be entitled to substantial compensation. Studies show that Pradaxa can cause more heart attacks than warfarin, and other countries have already issued safety warnings against this drug. Call now for a free assessment of your case and potential money damages. The call is confidential. There's no cost, and you may be eligible. Juries have awarded millions of dollars to Pradaxa victims, and thousands of Xarelto victims are filing their legal cases. Call the Drug Watch hotline. If you or a loved one used Xarelto or Pradaxa and experienced uncontrollable bleeding, brain hemorrhage, or even death, you must call now.
Call 800-793-6055. 800-793-6055.
Is your old garage door stuck or broken? Would a new one give you a lift? Let Precision Door Overhead Garage Door Service of Sarasota come to the rescue with prompt and affordable repair service. Replacement doors come with an array of styles and colors, and they are rated to meet and exceed Florida standards. From estimates to installation, your satisfaction is our priority. If you're not 100% satisfied with any product, service, or installation, we will make it right, because Precision Door Service is a name you can trust.
Check out My Suncoast Dining on mysuncoast.com, your guide to the foodie lifestyle. ABC7's own Chef Judy serves up her favorite recipes, cooking tips and trends, dining blog, step-by-step videos, and Suncoast Restaurant Guide. You'll find it all at mysuncoast.com/dining.
And our guests join us right now for final thoughts. And Ron, I'm going to start with you in terms of where are downtown merchants at? Because a while back you were very active in trying to really, put down the gauntlet and saying that, look, our livelihoods are on the line here with the homeless affecting business. That kind of went away. So what are you doing now?
We still have, some people have some of the posters up and stuff where it said, keep the change, your kindness could kill. And basically he's trying to educate the public that when you give money on the streets, you're not getting that person a hotel room, you're not buying him a meal. All you're doing, you give him $2 or $3. All that buys is one of those little airline bottles of vodka. So, but we've kind of held off a little bit on it because actually the outreach team with the city and the police department has actually done a pretty good job.
Martin, we're seeing that the city and the county are now working together in terms of coming up with a strategy. I would imagine you would say this is long overdue, but are there approaches that are not being taken that should be taken at this point?
Yeah, they mentioned community-assisted supported living with Scott Eller, and I think that's an excellent idea. It's a different thing. It's less institutionalized. It's a way to bring people back into a better, a more pastoral type of environment, and I'd like to see more of that. They're talking about one on Fruitville Road. I'd like to see one in the south part of the county. I'd like to return people to the opportunity to live a normal life. And mostly I wanted to just say that everybody's a part of this. The county has to be a part of it too.
Michael, what are we missing?
Well, we should never return to criminalizing this. That hopefully we're past that point. Second, we need more resources from legislature, our state legislature, and local officials. And third, I think that we just take one at a time, solving one person's problems one at a time, and eventually we'll get there.
But and we only have a couple of seconds left. We're back to where we started tonight. According to this, the feds, there are fewer homeless in Florida and the Suncoast, but we know what we see with our own eyes.
One is too many, Alan.
Okay.
And if you notice, a lot of the people that we knew downtown, Ian, who used to hang out in front of Madison's there, he's got housing. There has been a lot of good work done in Sarasota.
Okay, we have to leave it there. FYI, you can watch past discussions on demand. They're available on Apple TV, Amazon Fire, and Roku. And for the latest on local breaking news, don't forget to download the updated version of our app. If your current app doesn't work, it's expired, just go to the App Store and re-download it by searching for WWSB or My Suncoast. We want to thank our guests for being here tonight. Michael Barfield of the ACLU, Ron Soto, Chairman of the Sarasota Downtown Merchants Association, and local business owner Martin Hyde. When we return, we'll have a final look at your first alert weather, plus former President Barack Obama did a rare one-on-one interview, but not with ABC or me or any other big network. We'll tell you who he's talking to after the break.
There's nothing like this trail in Alabama. It just goes from the northern part of the state to the southern part of the state. We see all kind of different terrains, great value, great fun. We've been coming for 18 years. We started off with a group of 8, grew to 12, and grew to 16. And we love it because where else can you get world-class golf courses with world-class accommodations? To be able to play these type of courses in this environment, and the difficulty keeps us coming back over and over and over again.
If you're over the age of 50 and considering buying an annuity in the next 60 days, I have some important news for you. Don't buy an annuity until you understand the pros and cons of annuities. A free book to help you maximize your retirement income from television host and 3-time author Josh Melberg has been released. This book reveals little-known truths about annuity strategies in simple-to-understand terms. Grab a pen right now because we are about to offer you this free book that unlocks the 5 little-known secrets we believe baby boomers and seniors should know before buying an annuity. Call 800-307-2040 now, and you'll receive a free copy of Josh Melberg's book, Next Gen Annuity Strategies Revealed. As a bonus, we'll also send you the #1 mistakes retirees are making with their investments today, and a free DVD on how you can get up to 33% more income in retirement. Call 800-307-2040 to have your free information kit rushed to your door. Again, that's 800-307-2040.
SRQ Performance Parts provides parts and accessories from over 300 manufacturers, so you can get that new manifold, carburetor, gasket, bolt kit, or nitrous oxide system fast. We'll help you beat the competition. Call or visit SRQ Performance Parts online today for all your high-performance parts and advice.
Selfless service is the guiding principle of every Army National Guard soldier. They have a stake in the well-being of the neighborhoods where they live and work. To be an Army National Guard soldier is to serve something greater than yourself. Learn more at nationalguard.com.
Your primetime headlines are coming up in a moment, but right now let's get a final check on our first alert forecast from meteorologist Steve Newman.
Alan, if you've liked the last couple 3 or 4 days with temperatures in the upper 70s, you've got one more day like that. That will be tomorrow. Looking at our Casey Key cam, you can see a beautiful day, boats going by, people walking up and down the beach, and a beautiful crimson sky after a gorgeous sunset. And as we look live over Sarasota Bay from our ABC7 tower cam, you can see, well, you can't see the clouds, but there are a few up there. And the temperature at the airport is 69, our dew point 65, and that should give you a clue that we're going to bottom off probably in the low 60s tonight. And a north wind at 6 miles an hour. There are some clouds streaming in from a disturbance poised right along the Gulf of Mexico's northern coast, but it's not going to sag this far south. Any showers that we're seeing on radar are going to stay up there, and there have been some bringing a kind of a dreary day to the Panhandle and for moving into areas north of Tampa Bay, but I don't think it's going to quite make it even to Tampa Bay tonight. Across the country, bitter cold, and also there's a lot of snow. Look at the expanse of snow cover from coast to coast. And that's also helping to cap in the cold and keep the moderating wind from the Pacific from warming things up. These brighter colors, that's 3 to 4 feet of snow on the ground. And it's not going to do nothing but get more snow as another Alberta Clipper moving from the Dakotas that way tonight. Here is our disturbance along the Gulf, and it won't be until this front finally passes over us late Friday that the real cooling trend begins. But it is going to stay cold, if not get colder up north. Montreal right now, 6 below zero. It's 21 in New York City. And the wind chills make it feel even colder than this. It's 42 even as far south as Houston. Well, what about this cold? Is it going to get worse? Is it going to be better? What is New Year's Eve going to be like? Let's watch the progress as the daytime warming and the nighttime cooling goes on through Friday, Saturday, and on New Year's Eve. Look at the temperatures in New York City at midnight. 14 degrees. Some computer models have it at 11 with a wind chill of -3. I'm not sure it is healthy for people to be outdoors if this forecast is right. I would be interested to see if they decided to encourage people not to come out that night, including Anderson Cooper. Taking a look at our Suncoast temperatures at midnight, New Year's Eve, 63 in Bradenton, 62 in Sarasota. This is the European models forecast. We'll see how true that holds as we move to the next few days. Well, here's the RPM 48-hour forecast. It's much more high resolution and more accurate. There goes the rain we saw on radar. Tomorrow looks like a decent day. Temperatures in the upper 70s. The front has gone through, but because of the way it's positioned, the wind flow is not bringing in the cold air. It's actually coming in off the Atlantic. But look, once this front eventually gets its act together and moves to the east, then the wind gets channeled from the north, giving us finally some cooler temperatures, which a lot of people have been asking me for. They think it's too warm being in the upper 70s. Lots of clouds tonight with patches of fog. Our low temperature 61 degrees, average 52, so we're almost 10 degrees warmer than normal tonight for overnight lows with that north-northwest wind at 5. Tomorrow, a lot of clouds will look a lot like this. This is Bird Key, by the way, looking at the north end of Siesta Key. Variable clouds and warm with a high temperature tomorrow of 77. Again, that's 5 degrees warmer than normal with those northeast winds. And here is the 7-day outlook showing that we will have that one more warm day tomorrow, Thursday, 77 for the high temperature. Patches of fog in the morning in inland areas, and then we start cooling off a little with that front passing over us on Friday, but then really the cooling really starts in earnest on Saturday. We try to recover somewhat on Sunday with not a bad day for New Year's Eve day. Right at midnight, temperatures in the low 60s. Then during the day on New Year's Day, 50% chance of rain develops, and it stays unsettled, and it gets colder at night. You can see lows in the upper 40s. We'll see if that forecast holds true. I have high confidence in it at this point. And Alan will be back with your primetime headlines right after these words. Stay tuned.
If you're between 50 and 85 years old, call the number on your screen right now for free information on how to save your family thousands of dollars. We're Family Love Plans, and we've been helping families just like yours for over 30 years. The average funeral today can cost up to $10,000 or more, but the most you'll get from government benefits is just $255. How will your family pay the difference? At Family Love Plans, we can help you and your family. Our senior plans start as low as just $1 a day and pay up to $30,000 for a funeral and other final expenses. Peace of mind is easy. There's no medical exam and your plan can't be canceled. Better still, your rate will never go up and your benefits will never go down. Get your free information about our senior plans. Just answer a few simple questions and receive approval right over the phone.
Call 1-800-707-3608. That's 1-800-707-3608.
Credit card debt can ruin your life. If you owe $10,000 and minimum payments are siphoning away your paycheck each month, you can get debt-free in less time than you think.
I've paid $800 a month for the past 3 years and haven't changed the balance on my credit card.
Get debt-free now has a program to reduce your debt, stop the harassing phone calls, avoid financial ruin, and settle for less than you owe.
I feel like a huge weight has been lifted off my shoulders.
You're pre-approved for our special hardship program if you owe $10,000 or more. Upon payment of your new lower balance, your debt will finally shrink until you are debt-free.
My family no longer has 30 years of payments ahead of us at 20% interest.
There's no fees until you see results. So call now, make one monthly program payment, and free up your cash. Resolve your debt.
Call 800-628-1251, 800-628-1251.
Florida Studio Theater has extended the 8-time Tony Award winner Once. Captivating and breathtaking, Once is an unforgettable story about going for your dreams and the power of music to connect us all. Critics are calling Once engaging and heartwarming, outstanding, and a flawless production. Audiences are calling it phenomenal and better than Broadway. Once is now playing through January 14th. Tickets can be purchased by calling 941-366-9000 or by visiting floridastudiotheater.org.
Checking primetime headlines. Since leaving office earlier this year, former President Barack Obama has not sat down for a one-on-one interview. That was until recently. ABC's Molly Hunter has more.
Okay. In his very first interview since leaving office, former President Barack Obama sits down with his friend, Prince Harry. Guest hosting a BBC radio show with the president in the hot seat, The young royal fired away.
I'll interview you if you want.
No,
Okay.
let's keep it this way. I much prefer that. What's different about your mornings?
I wake up later, but the things that are important to me haven't changed.
And the important things, Barack Obama said, need to stay constant, to stay rock solid.
Can I take you back to the 20th of January, 2017? What's going through your mind?
You know, the first thing that went through my mind was sitting across from Michelle, how thankful I was that she had been my partner through that whole process.
Perhaps a little encouragement for Harry, who has now introduced his partner to public life. And finally, a lightning round.
Boxers or briefs?
Sorry, we don't answer those questions.
Harry or William?
William right now.
Including a few, really, with only one right answer.
Queen or the Queen?
The Queen.
Okay, good answer again. Suits or the Good Wife?
Suits, obviously.
Great answer.
Today's program is guest edited by Prince Harry.
And today, Harry joined the regular BBC anchors for a quick chat.
It was your future wife's first Christmas with the in-laws. How was it?
Oh, it was fantastic. She really enjoyed it. The family loved having her there.
The next question, will Obama be invited to the big wedding next year?
Wouldn't want to ruin that surprise.
Meghan and Harry have 5 very busy months to sort out that guest list. Molly Hunter, ABC News, London.
Okay, you know this is not going to sit well with President Trump. Sitting presidents usually win the top spot in the Gallup poll's list of most admired Americans, but this year, President Trump has come in second. He was bested by former President Barack Obama, who has been the most admired man in America for 10 years running. That makes him second only to former President Dwight Eisenhower. Hillary Clinton is still the most admired woman in the country for the 16th year in a row. She has taken the top spot a total of 22 times, more than any other woman in the poll's history. A historic magnolia tree on the south lawn of the White House, planted by Andrew Jackson in memory of his wife, is no more. It stood for nearly 200 centuries and is the oldest tree on the grounds. It's believed to be the tree that grew out of a seedling brought to the Capitol by President Andrew Jackson. Officials said part of the tree was being removed because it was weak and posed a safety risk. The work of cutting down the old tree back is done this week while President Trump and his family are in Florida for the holidays. The most magical place on earth is cold and dark tonight. A major power outage at Disneyland in Anaheim today as the park was at near capacity. A Disneyland spokesperson said power was out in Fantasyland and Toontown, and crews were working to restore it. Guests had to be escorted off about a dozen rides, including the monorail. A park spokesperson said the electrical outlet was the result of a transformer. And that's all the time. Good night.